between them in the past, but I think in recent times we've seen much more the level of respect there is between them. Carl Boys alongside me. Big night ahead. Carl will be talking qualification issues a lot, but for these two guys who are through to the next phase, to be first on is a wonderful way to kick things off.
Yeah, if you're a fan of 9-ball pool, I'm sure you are tuning in to watch this match, because whenever these two players meet, you can expect fireworks. Good break there from Shane. Looks like he's going to have a shot at this 2-ball into the top right corner. Does go into the top left as well. He might play it into the top left because that offers a little bit more of a bigger pocket. And then you can see in the bottom right there's a nice 3-7 combo. So if he pots this, he's away.
As we've said, they're regular singles opponents in the Mosconi Cup. Shaw won 5-3 when they met in the 2021 edition. The previous year in Coventry, it was a 5-4 win for Shaw on the Wednesday night as Europe started to pull away. And then the clinching point at the end of that contest, as Europe won back the cup, having lost it for the last 2 years, was delivered by Shaw, again beating Van Boening on that occasion 5-3. Shaw second in the table at the moment. Van Boening down in 5th. He can still finish ahead of Shaw, though. He's got 9 wins. Shaw currently has 10. And they've both got 2 matches to go. Van Boening still has to face Alban Ocean. That'll be the next match on this table. And Shaw's last match will be against Mieszko Fortunski, who's still battling to get through. This could have finished a little better, Carl.
Yeah, the problem he's got here is he can't get enough left spin on the cue ball to get back down for the 9. And he also can't play it with right spin, so we might be seeing, well, I was going to say a bank, but even the bank, he would need to draw the cue ball back. And in doing that, can he avoid the scratch in the middle? So this is an interim position. I mean, he could even just cut the ball. Well, he's eyeing up the bank. That's what you can see straight away. He's going to be drawing this ball back. Oh, delightful shot there, Michael.
I actually saw him on the practice table just before going out, and that's exactly the sort of shot he was practicing. Not so much the bank element of it, but being able to draw the ball like that. So a very fine start for Shane Van Boening, and he leads Jayson Shaw 1-0. On the other table, it's Naoki Oi and Omar Al-Shaheen. Oi has really fallen away, made a good start, but he's heading out of the tournament after this match. He completes his roster of 15 with this. From Al-Shaheen's point of view, he's got 3 matches to play. They're the first 3 of the evening on table 2, and he can take himself out of the qualifying situation altogether in a good way. If he makes a good start to the evening, he can clinch his place, and then effectively the night could develop into a 4-way tussle between Fortunski, Szolnocki, Yap and Fischer for just 1 place. But it looks as though he's going to lose the opening rack.
This needs to go in clean, and it has done. Nice pot there from Oi.
Yeah, he's had cue issues going on. He switched from a wood cue to a carbon cue just before the tournament, but I think he's gone back to the wooden one.
Yeah, carbon fibre cues have become the norm in recent years. Back in the day, Michael, when if you'd have walked in the pool room with a carbon shaft, well, you would be seen as easy pickings. That's the right terms.
Very, very well put. Jayson Shaw, let's have our first look at him, 1-0 down. And that's okay.
A little bit like Shane, he had to put a good opening ball in his rack, the first rack. Jayson's going to need a good opening shot here as well. And he's going to try and pot this in the top right. I think he's going to play this fairly hard. He's going to play 2 rails for position on the 2 in the other pocket. Oh, he could get into it easy. That's the beauty of using a long cue like Jayson, is you get through the cue ball so easy. You get so much more power and reaction on the cue ball.
But I guess the fact that everyone isn't using a cue of that length suggests, Carl, that if that's the plus side, there must be a downside to using one of that length as well. So what would that be?
Well, to be honest, I think the majority of the players in the event are using a longer cue. I'm not saying they're all as long as Jayson's. I know Shane uses a longer cue. Earlier today, I was with Jayson. I was doing a little bit of filming, and he had his cue out, and he was telling me it's 64 inches long. He said he's even practiced with a longer extension than that, but he feels it's a little bit too much, so he uses a 64-inch length cue. Shane's is very long. On the table number 2, Omar, if you look at the bottom of his cue, he uses a little extension. David Al-Qaedi does. Sanchez. Seems to be the norm. The great Earl Strickland started this trend.
64 inches, extremely long. You think of Kelly Fisher, I mean, she probably is only about 64 inches in height, so it is extremely long. But he's using it to good effect here. Looks like he's going to reply in kind with a break and run. Oh, and just as I say that, and you know, we saw that in the Moscone, didn't we? When he had a chance to clinch the winning point, he was looking good in his match against Skylar Woodward, and then he had a miscue, and that whole contest turned around, and it fell to Joshua Filler instead to deliver the winning point.
Yeah, you don't see it often, but you do see it now and again.
We do fall into the habit, don't we, as commentators, of assuming things. These players are so good. Often you get down to the last 3 or 4 balls and we think, well, the rack's over now. But you can never entirely say it, because something odd like that can always happen.
Now, how many amateur pool players watching would play the 6 in this pocket? I bet there's not many.
I think any amateur players watching are just enjoying the fact that they've seen one of the best players in the world make a mistake like that. Makes them feel a bit better about their own games.
Yeah, the reason Shane did that is because he wanted to play the 8 in the middle. He knew he had so much room for error.
So Jayson Shaw scooped the ball off the table. Shane van Boening mopped up from there. He leads 2-0 and he'll be breaking next. Now Yuki Oi 1-0 up against Omar Al-Shaheen. He's going out, as we say, but still prize money considerations. Every place you move up the table earns you a little bit more prize money. Of course, he just wants to leave with as many wins as he can. After, well, a real slump over the last few days.
Foul.
Another miscue, Michael.
Well, they're all at it. These guys are supposed to be the best in the world, Carl.
Maybe this storm's having a bigger effect than we think.
Yeah.
Start the clock, please.
Maybe during our little break before the evening session, somebody's gone in there and started messing with the cue balls or something. Very bizarre. You did get a good look in Yuki's cue then, though. Like Michael said, he's gone back to the wood shaft. So a little too late, though. SVB is breaking in the 3rd. I like the way Shane's changed his break the last day and a half. He's decided he's going to go full power and just hopefully pot a ball. He's not relying on the wing ball or the 1 ball. I think it's very pleasing on the eye when you see a pool player unleash the full power break.
It's working well for him. I mean, so often he's potting numerous balls from the break.
Really is a beautiful game, 9-ball pool. Very fast, easy on the eye.
Well, every single shot moves the situation on in some way. There's always something happening.
Extension, please.
Yeah, well put, Michael. It's never really stalemate, is it? And there's a lot more elements to this game than a lot of people realise.
Well, when you tell people who might have a bit of interest in cue sports but have never watched 9-ball that the winner of every rack is just the guy who pots the 9-ball, doesn't matter who's potted the previous 8, they think that sounds like a ridiculous game. But then you actually see it in action, particularly when it's played as well as these guys do, and it makes real sense. Things can change so quickly. It's probably only about 4 or 5 minutes since we were basically marking down 1-all. And then Shaw goes for a bit of the high hurdles. And suddenly, here we are with Shane van Boening racing into a 3-0 lead. We'll have more in a moment. One-way traffic at the moment. Shane van Boening leading Jayson Shaw 3-0.
Mr. Shaw to break.
But Shaw does have the break in the 4th.
This is no good for Shaw.
Mr. Van Boening, your option.
John Lehman, the referee. Remember, I was bemusing you earlier, Carl, talking about how John would make a very good King Lear because he does a bit of acting. I was talking to him there just before we came on, Apparently he played King Lear some years ago. And you're still looking at me like you've no idea what I'm on about.
Just nodding away. Shane needs the cue ball to slow down, and that's a pretty tidy shot indeed. I'm sure there's a lot of USA Moscone Cup fans watching thinking, Shane, why can't you just do this against Jayson at the Moscone?
I think he suffered under the weight of expectation, even a player of such experience, because he played so many matches at Alexandra Palace in December. The team were just so reliant on him, and he just kept on getting beaten.
That was a nice kick shot, that. I know he relying on a little bit of luck at the end, but to kick one rail and hit below on the bottom side of the one, which was what Jayson was trying to do, just to create distance, that is where the skill was in that shot.
Extension, please.
Yuki Oi 2-1 up against Omar El Shaheen on the other table. You would look at it and think Al Shaheen should at least get to 7, which we think should be enough to get through, because he's got 3 matches to come. But the other 2 are against Skylar Woodward and Alex Kazakis, both in pretty good form at the moment. So this is clearly his best chance to get that win. If he doesn't take it, the situation changes quite a bit.
Jayson needs a good long pot here. Of course, he's more than capable. Look how much he's got into that cue ball. He's going to be hampered off the pink 4 now. So that's just going to change the dynamic. You might play this. You might stun this round off the 3rd rail below the 9. Yeah, watch the cue ball. See how it's going below the 9. And is it this well? Real nice shot there.
Given the history between them, the last thing Jayson Shaw would want would be to suffer the humiliation of a 5-0 defeat to Shane Van Boening. So he really needed this rack to avert the possibility of Van Boening breaking at 4-0. Especially given how well Van Boening is breaking. So with the exception of one moment of madness, let's call it, this has been exemplary stuff from both players so far. Shane Van Boening leads 3-1. Throughout the night, we'll be keeping a very close eye on the qualification picture. Remember, 6 players being eliminated at the end of tonight. We already know who 3 of them are going to be. That includes Yuki Oi, but Omar El Shaheen still very much in the shake-up for the last few places.
Just look where the cue is on his bridge hand. And the cue ball's going near the side pocket here. And that noise tells you it's gone. That was a real bad mistake there. Stretching way too much. Not the tallest of fellas. Yeah, Yuki Oi, he's not only got a new shaft, it's a new butt of the cue as well. It's literally a completely different cue. Probably his old cue.
Started so well. By Monday night, he had 3 wins out of 4. The only player who had beaten him was Joshua Filler. And it's just all gone wrong since. He's played 10 matches and lost 9 of them. Things could be turning round here.
Again though, Michael, He's potted 3 balls.
Start the shot clock, please.
It's a ball break though at Shane's level. He will know that whenever he arcs it and it goes in the middle, that hurts. Trying to always arc it past the middle if you don't hit it square. Looks a little tricky this, because after he pots the 2, he's got to go all the way up top of the table, and he's going to need an angle on this ball. Straight is no good. Well, if he's straight here, we're going to see some cue power here, because he's got to get back down for this 5 ball.
Well, it would be the complete opposite of the shot we've just seen. He seemed to barely touch the cue ball to take it to the other end of the table there. It was all about timing. A bit more power involved here. It's a good effort at least, Carl.
Yeah, that is a phenomenal shot. To get there with the cue ball on a brand new table that slides, he's done well.
Well, most of the work was already done for him. Or, well, not most of it, but a lot of it, because, as you said, 3 balls were already down. From another lightning break from Shane van Boening.
Now, both players have played 13 matches. Jayson's just 1 point in front of Shane. So let's not forget about moving forward as the event goes a little deeper.
Yep, back to 3-2 now. Yeah, they're all jockeying for position now, those players who are already through. It's a bit like Formula 1 qualifying. Can you get yourself into pole position or on the front row of the grid? Now Yuki Oi, on the other hand, is on the final lap of his Predator Premier League campaign. Can't do anything now about his own prospects of getting through to the second phase, because he can't qualify at this stage, but he can certainly inflict a lot of damage on Omar El Shaheen. He's currently in 9th place, but by no means guaranteed to stay in the top 10.
That was a clever shot there from Oi, just to move the 9 away. We've been waiting for this night since we've arrived. This is coming to the end of the big group of 16.
Well, it's been great stuff so far, but when you consider that on 3 of the last 4 days of the tournament, including this one, it's going to be decision time, because 6 players going tonight. There'll be 4 more going on Sunday night, and then on Monday, of course, well, there'll be elimination throughout the day. 2 players going in the league phase, and then 2 more in the semi-finals, and we'll have our champion by that night.
Jayson's just losing the cue ball off this rail. He's trying to cut break and leave the cue ball in the centre. It's a very, very difficult shot, that. And this is the second time in this match he's lost the cue ball over towards his corner. So he's going to attack this. He's got no choice. But this is not an easy pot, even for one of the greatest potters Cue Sports has ever seen. Well, I'll tell you what, play that shot again and not hit any of them balls. Did take a bit of a gamble though, to be fair. I'm not 100% certain what shot he was playing positional wise. Thought he would have played it a little bit softer and tried to play for the blue 2 in the left centre. So he was taking a little bit of a gamble. Maybe just trying to hit the 9 or the 3 full ball. Now this 2 doesn't pass. I don't know if he can chop it into the right centre. And I don't think it banks into the pocket where the green 6 is. So he might be playing safe. Cue ball up towards the 3. Duck the 2 behind the 9. Needs to slow down. And that is not a bad job. Well, I'll say that, Michael. Shane's down on his knees looking, so maybe there's a little window.
I think Jayson Shaw's been trying to bring Shane Van Boening to his knees for years. Finally achieved it.
If Shane does kick this way, the way he's looking off the left rail, he'll try and go off the left rail and then he'll try and hit the bottom rail first. So he's going to go off 2 rails. The reason for that is he may pot it, but he's going to create distance if he hits it correctly. And of course Shane just goes off 1 rail and completely throws my theory out the window and gets very fortunate. This is a tricky shot because Jayson can hit the left side of the 2 and he'd love to bank it all the way back down. Is he swerving? He is swerving, he's trying to pot it. Oh, he needs a bit of help. He could do with the 2 ball stopping because the closer it gets to this pocket, the easier it's going to be for Shane. Turning into a big wreck, this one now. Shane does go on to win this point. I'll just move him nicely up near the... I mean, he's obviously just 3 points off top spot Joshua Filler, but this will just close the gap. He has a game in hand on Josh. So this will just put him 2 points behind the number 1 spot and nicely poised moving forward.
Yeah, defeat for Shaw would end his hopes of finishing top of the table, leading the field into the next phase.
Now then, does Shane play a real easy safety shot, cue ball behind the 7, or does he go full attack mode? Shane's very good at this shot, chopping the 4 all the way down the long rail in the bottom right pocket, usually attacks at these, and I believe he's going for this. He has smelt blood. There's not many pool players better than that type of shot in the world than SVB. There really isn't. So easy to hit that fat. What that means is hit that 4 ball into the rail before the pocket. And you would think that's just got Shane on the hill. This match could have been all so different for Jayson. Cast your mind back at that miscue.
Yeah, so often between players of this quality, so evenly matched, short match, you can very often point to just 1 shot. Maybe not quite as the decisive moment of the match, but certainly as the defining juncture. And the good news for Shane Van Boening is that he's going to be breaking in the next rack, and he'll do so on the hill at 4-2. More from this match coming up, but news from the other table, Omar El Shaheen in real trouble. He has just won the 6th rack against Naoyuki Oi, got ball in hand when Oi scratched, but he's 4-2 down. Now, if he loses that, it raises real doubts about his place in the next phase, so we'll keep an eye on that. But a rare dry break from Shane van Boening.
You could see the one ball clatter into both jaws. We've said it before, we've said it a million times. The middle pockets on this Rasson table are very, very keen. Jayson's played a loose one, he needs a little bit of help. I think that is very tight in the side, and I don't think the 5 ball, the purple 5, is close enough near the middle where Shane can play the one off the 5, so this is a nasty position, isn't it?
Extension. Extension, please.
That is tighter than you on a night out, Carl.
Well, that is very harsh, Michael.
Nah, you can always say these things when everyone knows there's no truth to it whatsoever.
Well, there might be a little bit of truth to it. I don't know what he's attempting, to be honest. It's very difficult for us to see. Oh, he could play it off the 5. He had to play it really hard. If he'd have played it any softer, it wouldn't have kicked back a little bit. And look at where the balls have finished. Jayson's going to be fuming sat in his chair.
That is so sweet, isn't it? 5 in as a little bonus. Lovely on the 2, simple onto the 3. And the next time Jayson gets out of that chair, might be to shake hands. Just a reminder, Van Boening will be staying on this table to play another mainstay of the European Mosconi Cup team, world champion Albin Ocean, up next.
So it's not getting any easier for Shane, but this is a big win.
Yeah, Ocean, of course, won his first 10 matches. We were talking about the possibility of him going through with a perfect 15. He's played 3 since then and lost them all. It's as good as over now. So Jayson Shaw is not going to go through in first place. He won't be overly bothered. He'll still be in very good shape. I'm sure he'd enjoy the satisfaction of finishing in first place for its own sake. That isn't going to happen now. The most he can get to is 11 wins. He's just got that one more match to come against Mieszko Fortunski. Joshua Filler already has 12.
Strong performance from Shane this. He's played very well. He broke well.
So victory for the USA in the